You're listening to the Energy Trade Show podcast. I'm so excited today because we have a pre-podcast episode or a pre-show episode here for Image 2025 happening in Houston, Texas, August 25th through the 28th. And I'm joined by Paula de Oliveira and Julian Chenin, who are co-chairs for the steering committee happening for Image 25. Welcome, guys. How are you doing today?
Thank you so much for having us, Ben.
Yeah, doing great, Ben. Thanks again.
I want to give you an opportunity to introduce yourself so listeners kind of know who you are and what you do. Paula, do you mind going first?
No, of course. So I'm a Portuguese petroleum geologist, a little bit off the norm, right? Oil and gas is not present in Portugal, and I end up in Houston. So we can talk more about my career if people want to hear about it. But I've been in the oil and gas for the last 25 years and the last 14 with Shell. And now I found myself in a transition period again and having a little bit more time to give to the community. And Image allowed me to be that area of giving back.
Fantastic. Julian?
Same thing here. Yeah, born and raised in Houston. Spent a good chunk of my life here, but half my family is French, the other half is Syrian. So it's always been fun visiting new cultures in different places around the globe. Very similar to Paula. Image is something very special to us because it really gives us an opportunity to give back to the community. I started volunteering with APG in 2014, back when I was a freshman at U of H studying geology and sort of discovering different minerals and what a seismic line was for the first time. And I can confidently say that I would not be anywhere near where I am today without the people that I met through those organizations and the stuff that we were able to build. Image is one of the best ways to do that because it is the largest convention of geoscientists globally. And what better place than in the energy capital of Houston, Texas, to kick us off for its 5th year. So very, very thrilled to be able to have the opportunity to help out with Image, but also to work with such an amazing team and learn from Paula.
Yeah, you hit some great questions I was already going to ask. So Image has been around for 5 years so far. That's correct?
That's
Wow.
right.
And it's a gathering of geosciences and energy all together at once with new ideas and kind of innovation that's happening in that sector. Is that correct?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Is there anything I'm missing? Yeah, is there anything I'm missing? I'll let you describe the conference as well.
Absolutely. We're really building off of, it's still at the core of it, there's been a strong technical foundation. It always has been. A good split between geology and geophysics and all the geosciences for that matter. This year, we're going to have about 11,000 presentations, and we're going to feature 6 different pavilions. So we're not just going to be covering sort of the fundamentals, but also the forward-looking, right? What's going on within the carbon management space? What about new efforts within technologies, right, in the digitalization space? What about new energies like geothermal and carbon management, right? So there are so many different conversations that will be taking place at Image that revolve fundamentally at the core around geology and geophysics, right? But then it also involves that forward-looking direction as well, right? What's next? Where can we leverage our knowledge as earth scientists to help really continue along that energy landscape?
That's
But
incredible. Yeah, go ahead, Paula.
if I can add a little bit, right? What was special about Image, and it is still special, is that before Image, SEG and APG used to have their annual conferences separately. And then 5 years ago, they decided boldly and bravely to join forces and put together Image, right? And that was really looking forward that the future of all of us, the way we work, is collaboratively, right? So SEG benefits from APG and APG benefits from SEG. Because in real life, the way we all work, geoscientists, we work in teams. Nobody knows everything all at once, right? So we come together, we explore, we challenge each other, and we really make sure that we push forward in our beliefs, in the way we see the prospects, we see the world, we see the future. And that for me, it's the core of Image. And the 5 years mark shows you that we've been growing year after year on attendance, and that shows the need to have that connection. We cannot work isolated anymore, right, Julian?
Absolutely. No, you nailed it spot on, Paula, because this year's theme is building your geoscience success. The core of that success has always been collaboration, right?
Mm.
Working with different teams. Now we have the luxury of having more data available to us than ever before compared to like paper logs and paper seismic, right? So working with different groups, engineering, geology, geophysics, etc., right? That is what is going to continue to drive the success. Is also again celebrating that 5 years of ideas and excitement that has built up to this event, and of course many other conferences or images to follow.
Tell me the type of person that you think should attend Image 22.
Where can we start? So we can tell you a lot, right? So we have events from K to 12, first time ever
Wow.
in Image that we have fourth graders and fifth graders coming to visit Image.
Cool.
We have the high schoolers, and those are already part of Image before, but the K to 12, it's really new. So we are starting young, right? And then even on the professional side, you will see, and Julian will add more to that, we have a lot tailored for the new graduates that are coming to the industry. The new people that are entering the industry need some guidance for their resume guidance, taking their headshots, professional headshots, right? Or if you are a well-seasoned like me, you can also go and have your headshot taken professionally, right? Bringing core. So as geologists, and I'm a geologist, right? After a while, you become a geoscientist, right? You integrate everything. But the core, I am a geologist, and we need rocks. And this year, we brought core back to the convention center. So people will be able to see the rock, lick it. That we can talk about that because geologists in the field, to see the grain and to see the texture of the rock, what we do is we lick the rock. So there are some funny jokes about that, right? But we also have, for the experienced people in the industry, what is going on in the other companies, what is new in academia, and also looking forward. If I am a leader, right? We are bringing this year for the first time C-suite talks on the first day of the convention on Monday. And that is very exciting. And that was enabled by our working together. So we are really proud of the work that we are doing. But Julian, give more details because I know that you have more.
Oh, absolutely. No, and it's spot on, right? So who should attend Image? Everyone. That is a bit of a blanketed statement, right? But really, it shows everything, right? Like Paula was mentioning, we're going to have our largest K through 12 program ever at Image this year, working with many different school districts within the greater Houston area, also homeschool schoolers as well, right? So again, exposing the next generation early on into what is geology and how, like, what is a rock, right? And how valuable is a rock, right? So kind of telling more of that story. When it comes to students and young professionals, whether they be early on in their undergraduate career or really late into their postdoctoral career, right, as a tenured academic. Lots of opportunity throughout the conference, whether it's presentations. We're going to be bringing the career coaching hub on the exhibition floor for resume reviews, professional networking, soft skill development. We're going to have lots of different kind of workshops and presentations happening within the gathering place that brings together all of these different communities within the geosciences. If you're a tenured professional, right, the entire technical program is going to cover about 6 different geographical regions. So if you're trying to understand either frontier exploration or really delve into what about like developing these reservoirs that have been worked on for several decades, right? There's something for every kind of profession and experience and skill set as well. And then finally, like broad looking, right? Forward looking. Like Paula mentioned, this year we're doing something a little different. We're going to have the Wood Mackenzie Strategic C-Suite panel, and that is going to be right before the conference kicks off. Really targeted to more like senior management and executive level type attendees where, yes, the fundamentals and the technicals are absolutely critical, But then again, the kind of broader context of the state of the industry will also
Mm.
set the context for a lot of those technical discussions to follow throughout those 3-4 days of the conference. So it really is all across sets of experiences, skills, backgrounds. There's something for everyone at Image to be a part of and take part in the conversation.
Man, that sounds awesome. Like you really are scaling just about everyone from kindergartners, from early school development all the way to C-suite. It really does sound like there's something for everyone there. Can I ask you a question? What made you decide to want to move forward with like the K through 12 initiative this year at Image? Why did you guys decide to do that? Because that's awesome.
Thank you. So you know that science it's really important, right? And a lot of times the students they don't know what is this about geology or geophysics for that matter, right? They may know what oil and gas is conceptually with the dinosaurs, but that is the extent. So can we engage early and make them excited about that new world that has such a big impact on our lives, right? Because the way we explore today are allowing the future, our children's future, to have reliable energy for them to live in a comfortable environment, right? That is so crucial. We are also enabling countries that are underdeveloped to come to more development situations, right? And allowing them to have electricity, to have gas to cook. And all that comes from oil and gas. And a lot of the work that we do traditionally, people they didn't know and was like a black box, right? It's nothing really fancy. It's fantastic, I can tell you. And the technology just brain boggling when you think about it, that we are able to drill hundreds of thousands of feet reliably, safely, and we explore that oil and gas that comes to your home on a very streamlined situation, right? So engaging that early excitement for learning, I think that was the key point for us. So we really hope that this first year will be the first of many for the pre-K team to come and have a big show out, right, Julian?
Exactly. Yeah, and the thing is that the big reason why we put so much efforts into the K through 12 program is, I mean, fundamentally, it's with the next generation, right? I'm going to start with something a little dark, but then also kind of like what's the light ahead, right? So if we look at today where we are, geoscience enrollment across not only the country but also the globe is declining. There are less and fewer people that are saying, I want to go become a geoscientist, which is honestly a little sad because you get to look at rocks, you get to be outside all day, and you get to go travel all across the globe. So it's just like, well, who wouldn't want to be a geoscientist, right? Typically, at least in my experience going through high school, I only found out about geology kind of like towards the end when I was just starting to do college apps. And I always wondered to myself, man, this would have been really cool if I found out just a little bit earlier and really explored a little bit of that. So this is kind of where the light part appears, right? Is inspiring that next generation, saying, hey, this is an incredibly important profession for many reasons. Ultimately, fundamentally, a geoscientist is understanding the processes and systems that revolve around the Earth. That can be for petroleum exploration. That is now going into the direction of energy development, right? Because ultimately, energy is a critical part of every single aspect of our lives. And so by
Yeah.
becoming an earth scientist, you're playing an active role within that. Whether it's drilling a well that's, thousands and thousands of feet deep water Gulf of Mexico, in and of itself is a massive engineering feat, right?
Sure.
And looking at planets, right? I mean, we have people that are studying rivers that used to be so ancient on Mars and to be able to go study that. So it's really inspiring the next generation saying, here's what everything you can do as a geoscientist is, right? And here an image will kind of open up a lot of those different perspectives so you can see what it's all about.
You mentioned something earlier that I just kind of want to touch back to. It's kind of a hot topic. From what I understand in renewable energy, it's geothermal. And people are getting more and more excited about geothermal because it's, kind of a next more exciting source of energy. Can you kind of just tell me a little bit more about how that process works and what we can expect at Image concerning geothermal?
Certainly. Paula, would you like to go ahead or?
Yeah, I can start, right? So you will see that the pavilions that we have, it's to bring all sources of energy together. The main core is still oil and gas, right? But we have CCUS, carbon capture, utilization, and storage, right? And that was a big effort a couple of years ago, right?
Hmm.
Now we are looking at that new effort on geothermal. So geothermal, in simple words, right? It's really going to drill some wells deep enough that the water will be warm, and then you bring it to surface and you heat wherever power plant you have or houses or wherever facility you have to heat up, right? That is in very simple lame terms. But the good thing is that it's all about energy, Ben. We cannot just focus in one source of energy. Right now,
Right.
the more dense one, and that gives us a little bit more reliability, is oil and gas. But the wind and the solar is also part of that mix. Of course, when there is no wind, when there is no sun, then you decline that energy source, right? So we need to have the right mix, and together, all of it, it's part of the solution, right? There's no bad guy in the industry. It's all
Mm.
about energy, and it's all about enabling us human beings to live a life of comfort, to tell you the truth, right? Nobody wants to go back and be in the cave age where I need to go for fire and warm up my lunch that way, right? But you will see that in a lot of places in Africa and in India, you still have a lot of people cooking with firewood. And that leads to a lot of people being intoxicated by the gases and having lung problems, right? So if we enable that next phase of development, you are already raising the level of living
Mm.
much better for everybody, right? So there's still a lot of work to be done, and all sources of energy are needed to allow that, and even nuclear. Right now at Image, we're not talking nuclear, but who knows next year if that will not be another pavilion. But Julian, talk
Exactly.
about the other pavilions also.
Yeah, no, and no, Paula mentions a really good point, right? I mean, yeah. So, what is the intersection of geosciences with nuclear? And it's just like, well, when you have sort of radioactive waste, where do you put it? And that there are lots of geoscience companies actually that are looking for long term, not on the hundreds of years, but on the thousands of years for disposing of these radioactive materials. So there's actually a lot of research and companies within that space, which is fairly interesting. On kind of all of the other things within Image's program, right? For geothermal, there's kind of lots of different ways that attendees, both new and experienced, can get involved in that conversation. We have the Geothermal Hub, which will be on the third floor of the George R. Brown.
Okay.
Lots of presentations from different companies, academia, showcasing their work and lessons learned in geothermal. But if you're looking for a more hands-on, kind of proactive approach, then we're also going to have several dedicated special sessions covering the technicality of geothermal, as well as some post-convention workshops too. So if you want to get hands-on and learn more on what's actually happening in geothermal, you can experience it Friday following the conference with lots of short courses from APG, SCPM, and SEG. So lots of education happening there as well. But for the other kind of pavilions, so around the carbon management pavilion, we'll have lots of technical showcases on what is happening within the CCUS space. We'll have some
Hmm.
hands-on core. And then we're also going international. So we have the Geo Pavilion, or the Global Energy Opportunities Pavilion, which is going to bring a bunch of different countries from abroad to showcase their energy prospects. So you can hear what's happening in Trinidad and Tobago, or in Ecuador, or in Newfoundland, Labrador, right? Mozambique. All these different corners of the globe, what are they doing in respect to energy? So it really is kind of a larger global conversation, I would say, ongoing discussion when it comes to that within geosciences.
Wow, it sounds like it's a great international conference as well. I mean, how many countries do you think are going to be represented here at Image?
Ooh, the last statistic on the website was about 93 countries, give or take. So really a global presence, over 7,800 attendees and 200 exhibitors. 200 plus exhibitors. So it really is going to be a very inclusive and dynamic conversation, especially on the exhibition floor.
Absolutely. Well, is there anything else that you want people to know specifically about Image 2025 that they might not gather from the website or maybe from some of the emails?
So a couple of things come to mind, right? If people have time in their hands and they want to volunteer, we have a call for volunteers. Come up and volunteer, and you will get the pass to go to the exhibition hall. If you are visiting Houston for whatever reason and you are curious about energy, come for the day. Again, you can have a free pass if you look for APG or SEG free pass for the conference, right? So you could really have a broad understanding of what the oil and gas is about, what the oil and gas business is all about, and energy is all about, and also start to make connections, because you will see that, like in any industry, right? It's a small world when you think about it. And whoever you meet now, you will find again in the future, and you will see that sometimes connections that you make over a coffee or waiting in line for a sandwich will go a
Exactly.
long way in your profession.
Exactly, exactly.
Spot on.
My favorite thing that I've learned is just show up.
Yes.
You never know what you're going to learn if you just show up, just put forth the effort. And I really commend you on making education such a big part of the conference as well. If I were to see that in more conferences that we cover as well, I would be super excited. I think having the K through 12 element is so cool. I have not seen that before, so congratulations, kudos to you guys for doing that. I think that's awesome. And overall, I think this is going to be a wonderful conference. I can't wait to be there. Of course, I will be there. The Energy Trade Show podcast will have our pavilion there, so we'll get to talk to whoever is there, conference attendees, speakers, exhibitors, whoever is interested in speaking on the podcast. We'd love to have you as well. Where can people find out more information about Image if they'd like to?
Boy,
Julian?
all over socials. Yeah, so check out the Image website. That's imageevent.org. There's lots of great guides and information there, especially the full technical program book, so you can plan before you go on all the great events that are happening there. Follow us on all of our socials. We are on X, formerly Twitter, rest in peace, as well as LinkedIn, Facebook, and follow the OGGN podcast. I mean, that's where you can get the insider scoop on Image.
I love
Absolutely.
that. You
Yeah.
know, I always say that recently, I've been in emails too. I'll say, follow us on X, formerly known as Twitter. I've stopped doing that, but at the beginning, yeah, that was all over. So nice, nice joke. I love that. That's great. Well,
Absolutely.
guys, thank you so much for being on the Energy Trade Show podcast. I really, really appreciate it. And can people look you up on LinkedIn if they want to follow you there?
Please do, and we are open to new connections. And if you feel the need to volunteer, guys, next year there is another opportunity to be part of the committee. Why not?
I love that. That's wonderful. Okay, guys, thank you so much for being on the Energy Trade Show podcast. I look forward to seeing you at Image 2025 from August 25th through the 28th at the George R. Brown Convention Center. And people can find out more information at imageevent.org. Is that correct?
That is
That's right.
correct.
All right, guys. See you there. Thanks so
Thank
much.
you, Ben.
All
Thank
right,
you,
Bye,
bye
Ben.
bye.
Julian.
Appreciate it.
Bye.